This is Oindrilla, and we are going to learn Programmatic Advertising 103. Now, we have learned the most important part, that's the players who are involved in programmatic advertising. Now, if you're an advertiser, you might be thinking how to get to the part where you can start showing ads. So, what you have to do is you choose your platform and then create campaigns. So you create a campaign in a DSP, that's demand side platform. Remember, you that's the platform that you use. And as soon as you create a campaign and it's set live, when the campaign is live, then the campaign is connected to ad exchanges. Once it's connected to ad exchanges, campaign starts bidding and starts showing ads. Now, how to set up a campaign? First, create an account. It's pretty much straightforward, just like how you create an account in Facebook or how you create an account in AdWords. It's pretty much straightforward, just like that. You create an account in DSP. But when we get to the point of creating an account, the first question that should come to your mind is which DSP should you choose? Now there are many DSPs out there, which you will see. I have added a couple of DSPs here. If you can't continue watching my videos, you will find them, and you would know which one best suit your requirement. There might be budget constraints. There might be something that you might be looking out for only performance, and there is no budget constraints. Now, it completely depends on you whether you are looking for something which would just which is just about reaching people, or are you looking out for something just about performance, or are you looking for more audience data? It's basically what you really want. Based on that, you can choose a DSP. Now, there are a few pointers that I have added in here so that you can jot them down when the time comes when you start making a decision towards getting uh, or once you start creating one account in a DSP. So the first thing is reach. You have to understand that not all DSPs are aligned to all ad exchanges. So, for example, AdRoll has around 5 ad exchanges and DV360 has around 12. Now, these numbers will change, this number will increase if you, uh, uh, it completely depends on what DSP you're using. So, there are more ad exchanges that some DSPs might use. So, you might want to use that. Okay. So, the more ad exchanges you have, meaning you have access to more inventories, and that too in an effective manner. Platform efficiency. So platform efficiency is some of the most important point that you should be looking at. For example, ad roll retargeting campaign works like a charm. So works much better than DV360's algorithm. It's basically what I have learned. And support, you would want to work with support who can help you um who can help you fix your problem at ease, and not with someone and not that uh, you should not sign up with a DSP which will take you to the help article pages and not provide you real solution at that particular time. So, for example, let's say you are running a campaign and you have a pixel issue. So you can't really track how many sales you're getting every day or week by week. For that, you need to get your pixel fixed, and you don't really know how to do it. Would you spend your time reading articles, or would you want someone to fix it then and there? Reading an article will take time, will take practice, will take experimentation. You wouldn't even know whether it worked or not. But a support who has an experience on that matter beforehand would be much more helpful. And to be honest, we all know that you're busy with your own business, and it's not really fair while you take care of the quality of your business, to improve the quality of the business. you are also taking care of all the technicalities. So DSP support is something that you should be also looking at. Platform costs. So what happens is when you use a platform, it's not like a SaaS tool where you pay an upfront fee before running a campaign. It's pretty much like it's hidden in the CPM model. So, for example, you are bidding in the market for $5 per thousand impressions, and the platform fees might be, let's say, 10% of $5, and that will be added to the CPM. So, you your budget, the budget that you add, gets deducted from that. You wouldn't know how much you have paid platform wise and how much you have paid you know at in the certain level unless you sit up and do the math. There are some agencies who does that as well, so there that's why if you look at hiring agencies, you will see a lot of Google articles, like articles in Google search engine says that agencies do not really have a transparent pricing model system. That's just because if agency add their charge based on CPM model, and if the fees is hidden in one of these model types, all you will be charged is how much money is being drawn from your credit card. So you don't really have a clear transparency. You don't really know how much you are paying for your marketing, how much you're paying for your sorry, how much you're paying for a campaign, how much you're paying for the platform, and how much you should be paying for your agency. So you should be very careful about that when you create one campaign. um, there are some platforms who are very transparent about their platform fees. So, for example, TV360 would already add the platform fees as media cost. So, you should be able to know it there. You should also be able to find it out in the reports. But again, like I said, you have to do the math if you're not really looking. Data. There are platforms who has abundant amount of data. So for example, TV360 is a platform which is very expensive because it has collaborated with various others DMBs, that's the data management platform. And you should be, I'm giving you an example of DV360, doesn't mean that you should always go with DV360. You will also find DSPs which has good amount of data sets. Remember, data is the key to find the right audiences. So what else does DSP include? Now, so DSP include ad blocking. Now, these are the technologies that allows advertisers to block ad delivery based on set of inventory quality signals, which could be viewability, brand safety, fraud. Now, what's viewability, brand safety, fraud? These are metrics whether to understand that your ad is being seen by the good audiences, good quality audiences. Now, for example, viewability is a metric which shows your ad, which measures that your ad is actually being viewed and not being only delivered on the website. What I mean to say is, it so happens that when you are on a website and you're on the top portion of the website, and the ad has rendered at the bottom, you did not really go to the bottom and see the website, but the system still calculates it as one impression. So you should always calculate based on viewability. Similarly, brand safety is to make sure that your ad is popping up on a brand safe website and not something which would hamper your brand. I don't really mean that your brand is popping up on a porn website, but that's something that you should be careful about. But some instances where it should not pop up. So, for example, I will give you an example. If you own an airline company, your ad should not be beside a content which has an air crash. You see my point? So that's brand safety. We will discuss more about brand safety and viewability in future slides. Ad serving is something that DSP does, which is delivery the ad across the media campaigns. Management is to manage the campaign delivery and to look into the data and making sure that it is going to the right audiences. So that's management services. That's why you have campaign managers who does this management services at a human level. They go to your DSP account and see whether your campaign is performing every day. They optimize it once in a week to make sure that it reaches the KPI that you should be doing. But there is one AI level as well in the system where it does the basic job. Data targeting, third-party data segments used for identifying, targeting specific types of users and devices. This is something that I've already mentioned. DMP. So DMP technologies are added to DSPs to help them get more advanced data sets and which will also help them to give accurate results about their customers. DSP technologies, again, we have already discussed about it. Pre-bid, pre-bid evaluation is allows advertisers to evaluate the quality of individual publisher impressions, influence decision before bidding. Quality is evaluated largely against viewability, brand safety, and or fraud. And then we have the similar type of metrics, that's third-party technology to measure target delivery, viewability, brand safety. Now, why did I cover so many jargons on one slide? This is to make sure that you understand that it's not only just running campaigns, it's to also understand that running a campaign, keeping in mind about the other aspects like making it perform, making sure that it runs on brand safe website, making sure that whoever is seeing the ad is not a bot but a real human being. This comes in place in DSP as well. So DSP is not only charging you for serving the ads, it's charging you for all these stuffs. So you should be looking at whether DSPs provide all these stuffs or few of them. Okay, now that you have created one account, so when you create an account, you obviously what you put is advertiser name, your business name, your website URL, your time zone, currency, billing information. Now I will discuss about the best practices while creating account, but remember your time zone should the time zone that you add is the one that should be added for your consumer. So for example, let's say if you are in India, you have a business in US, but you are living in India. Your billing information can be of India, but your time zone should be of US. Why? Because if you are running a campaign, a sale campaign, which you intend to show uh, to people in United States, then you would have to make sure that the time zone matches with them and not with you. Now, similarly, currency should be applied based on your currency, your where you are living, and not based on the other currencies. So that because it will be easy for you to measure it. So, for example, let's say using the same example, you are serving ads for US for the US people, but you are measuring it in form of dollars. So every time you go to the platform, you have to measure in, you have to break it down to Indian rupees and then finalize it in your report. So that can be quite cumbersome. So that's why you should put the currency based on your location. If you guys are staying apart and like if you are showing your ads in some other places, again, the same concept. If you might be running a campaign worldwide, doesn't mean that you have to put currency everywhere. You have to put currency of your state, of where you are. Now, once a campaign is created, the second part is to create a sorry. Once an account is created, you the second thing is you have to create what campaign. Now, when you create a campaign, what you have to do is first give a campaign name, give a verification setting, give an ad blocking setting, and schedule it. What do I mean by schedule it? When do you want to run it? Do you want to run it on from 1st of May to 15th of May? So that's scheduling, or that's called flight, ad flight. How much budget do you want to put? That's another topic that we should be discussing is what budget should you put. Now remember, in an account we might have one or more campaigns. So if you have a budget of 50,000 rupees, you should not distribute it to only one campaign. So it should not be 50,000, 50,000 straight simple math. It should be distributed across the campaign. So it should be either 30, 20, 25, 25, something like that. Now, once your campaign is created, your system will ask you to create an ad group, at least and one ad group. You can create more ad groups in one campaign. Now, the structure of your campaign and your ad group will completely depend on the strategy. I will come to that point. Now, when you create an ad group, what you have to check is whether you have already created creatives. Remember, we're running ads from the campaign. So you should have your ads ready. We'll talk about ads. How do we make sure that your ads are ready to be served, right? So there's an ad server where we put all our creatives there and put whatever is required for a creative to become an ad. Once that ad is ready, we will connect it to your campaign through your ad group. We have to make sure that your audience data is ready. We have to make sure that we are bidding the right amount on your ad group, and we have to put one pixel. What is pixel? I will talk about everything. What's a pixel? What's an audience data? Just stay with me, and then we also have to set a budget for our ad group. You can skip this part if you have if you don't want to control them, but I would recommend to put a budget at ad group level. That will help you spend your money on the best performing ad group. Okay, so the best practices, the I told you about the time zone thing. So you have to make sure that your time zone is based on your audience and not where you are residing. Your currency should be your own currency, and it should not be some other country's currency. Also, for IP exclusion, if you have a team who works on your website day and night, you would want to exclude them from your campaign, else they will keep seeing your ad, and that will eat away a lot of your budget. Now, ad creation. Remember, I told you there is a specific place where we put creatives and make ad out of it. Now, there are different types of ads. I showed you on the very first video of this course that there are different types of ads. The one that consists of a single file. Okay, so this one. This one is a static image. In static image is just an image, a static ad. You will see the best practices of good quality static ad should be a product should be there, a title should be there, a description of what you're offering, and the call to action, what you want your customers to do, and your logo. I have seen many brands miss out in any of these aspects and making it really not, it doesn't really make sense to show that ad. All these aspects are important. Now, I have been often asked by businesses that they have some images of let's say this watch image, can we just turn it into an ad? We can, but it actually depends on how beautifully can you turn it and make it attractive. Because you see, this is a watch, I can put it in form of an ad which is 300 cross 250. I have different sets of ad sizes there, so you have to keep in mind the other dimensions. For example, you if you remember that I told you that the ads that come in the right hand side or this side, which is called 160 cross 600, which is like a long one, and then you get something like this, the horizontal one, the vertical ads. So these ads are of different dimension. Your image should be such that it should match with that and make it attractive and have all these elements in your ads. That's when your creative become 50% of the ad. Even if you give me this, I still won't be able to run the ad until I have the other elements. I will talk about that. So that is true for every such ad. So always remember, if you guys are designing an ad, always remember these are the few things that you should always have. Images have black background graphic, business logo, and a call to action, and a small description. You don't have to write an essay, just few words. Wikipedia, on the other hand, is a similar type of thing but has an advanced feature like animation or other elements that encourage viewers to interact or engage. If done properly, rich media can have really good engagement rate and is the key to get more traffic to your website. Remember, you might already be reaching 1 lakh traffic. Getting traffic outside in internet is not difficult, but bringing them to your site is difficult. So for that, you would want to put the most amazing ad that they would have ever seen. Native ads are a kind of ad which brings a lot of click-through rate because of its it it feels like a part of the website. So it tend to have an editorial look and feel, and so it has a softer selling approach. It doesn't look like I'm trying to sell something. It looks like I'm reading a part of the content of the website, and it just feels like that. So that's why people tend to click on it more. But you might have seen some places where some random ads like native ad comes up and it doesn't match with the content at all. So I always recommend to use native ads for contextual targeting, where the context of the ad and context of the website matches, so that we get more click-through rate out of it. Video. Now, video is a huge topic. Like video, you can run videos across all the channels, like across all the devices. A video can be run on mobile, desktop, OTTs, and on your tablets as well. So you might want to keep a note of keeping a video which is as short as possible and has a very high quality and has a good content. Um, just creating a video just for the sake of it, I wouldn't recommend that. I would always recommend to put a strong image or a strong message across your video that would grab attention to your users. Then investing money on videos completely makes sense. Okay, so how do they look? Now, rich media ads, you see here, this one is a rich media ad. It keeps changing and it's really good quality. This one is a video. Both of them are videos, but here both of them look different. Now, this one is running on a video. So this is an ad which is run on top of video and it's called in stream. And this one doesn't have any video player, and it is just running on the video ad spaces, on any random ad spaces. So this is outstream video. So You might have seen ads, both of these kind, while surfing across internet. Now, this is the native ad I was talking about. Here, title, description, and branding. That's how you will see an ad. Now, again, I want to cover the most important part of creative designing. Now, I had been giving a lot of emphasis that a creative is not an ad. A creative is not an ad, just like why an ad becomes a creative becomes an ad when you put the other elements in it, and along with that, you put a landing page to it. It should be clickable, so that's when it becomes an ad. So a creative becomes an ad once it's linked with the landing page, else it's just a piece of image or an animation file. So I see a lot of people getting confused between a creative and an ad, and they call both of them the same thing. They are not. Okay. So every ad should, when you have uploaded a creative along with the other elements, meaning along with the description, title, heading, wherever it's required, and the landing page, that ad should be clickable. It should redirect to a landing page. And always remember, the landing page should be exactly saying the same thing to what the ad has been saying. If you're a trafficker, meaning you do all the setups part, and you see that there's a huge difference between the two, you should always tell your client that this is not intended to go here, please check, and they would appreciate it. You may or may not add a tracker to your landing page. Now, trackers would track the very important metrics of whether an ad is being clicked or whether an ad is being seen. They are called click and impressions. Now, you might want to add a tracker. An ad tracker can come in form of a third-party tracker where, for example, you are uploading a campaign in Quantcast. You can take a tracker of DoubleClick, which is Google's tracking system, third-party tracking system. You might also want to use YouTube trackers. I know there's a lot of people who knows about YouTube tracker and how to generate it. It's a Google Analytics tracker that you can add in your landing page. Um, okay, so every ad should have a border. The reason, if it's a white or black, the reason is pretty simple. If it's a white ad and it is rendering on white websites, as most websites are white, then they would not be recognized as an ad. It doesn't look like an ad. In fact, your ad will be disapproved immediately by the approval team. Always remember, after you launch a campaign, it will go through an approval process and it will be disapproved if you do not put the right ad. If you do not put a border, and if you have missed any part one of the elements that I have mentioned earlier. Every creative designing has to be compliant. So how do you know whether your ad is compliant or not? Um, you have to go to your when you start creating your campaign, or when you start creating your creative designing your creatives, go to the help documents of your DSPs, and you will find the policy guidelines for individual DSPs. Now, a DSP might have its own policy, but at the same time, it would have a policy integrated from the other ad exchanges, because at the end of the day, your ads are going to pop up through different ad exchanges, to different sites. So ad exchanges are like the guardians of the ads to be displayed, guardians of the SSP. So you have to make sure that your ads are proper and crisp. Okay, so thank you for being with me for such a long time, and I will see you in the next video.